Kakadosh Boker Or, we're Business Halacha, page 32. Yesterday we did the Gemara on Masechet Batra Kavbet Amud Aleph, and then we did also the Rosh. And if you remember, we spoke about the Pilpula Charifta. So what do we learn until now? We learned that non-residents are allowed to sell their wares in a marketplace to the people that are coming abroad, as long as they don't go around in the city selling. Tosafot extended it to what? To lending out money to the non-Jews. And he said, but only to the Jews, to the non-Jews which are coming from the outside. But if it's going to be the non-Jews in the city, he cannot lend out money to them. And then he says, additionally, he comes and he says, one who must spend time in the city to collect his debts, he's allowed to do business just to maintain themselves. That's what we learned yesterday from the Gemara. The Rosh came and he added, and he said that the non-residents may come to a city and sell their wares all at once as a wholesale, right? Why? Because intra-city commerce is considered vital for trade, which means that it's wholesale, it's not retail. Meaning retail, you can't, because it's when he's selling it like that, the Mehmet he's doing a competition. But if it's going to be like in the wholesale, so then that's going to be okay. Yeah? Gracias. So he comes and he says this, Alacha Zain, Siman Kuf Nun Vav, Choshe Mishpat, right? This is going to be, now we're going to learn Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says like this, Asocharim, Shemevi'im Schoratam Limkor Betoch Ayarot. So you have traders, you got people that they come and they sell, right? And they bring their schora to sell inside of the city. Bnei ha'ir me'akvim alehem limkor al yad al yad. So the people of the city, they could stop them from selling al yad al yad, one by one. Kederech envanim, just like a storekeeper. But now let's say they're only selling during the day of the marketplace. And monimutam, you can't stop them. But that's only if you're going to sell it when? In the shuk. But you're not going to go on the houses. Even on the day of Yom HaShuk. Yeah, so he says, and if they have a milve ba'ir, mochrim kedei parnasatam, they're going to sell kedei parnasa. So he says, afilu below Yom HaShuk, even without Yom HaShuk. Ad shipar'u chovam v'yelchu lahem, until they're going to get and pay back their debts back, and then they have to go. Okay, says the Rambam. So until you were clear, Shulchan Aruch, exactly what we learned in the Gemara. Okay, now he comes and he says, yeah, even though, he does bring down this inyan, we brought it down from the Rosh, right? And here it's bringing it down from the Rambam. So the Rambam already says this as well, about, the difference between wholesale and not wholesale. Okay, but look now in the Ramah. The Ramah says, V'chen linyan alva'at ribit lagoim. The same halacha would apply to alva'at ribit to the goyim. Yecholin la'akev badin, biadan. They could be me'akev, אבל אינן יכולים לעכב ידן אם באים ביום השוק ומלווים בריבית לבני העיריות ומקבצות שם, לבוא בשוק. So then they can't stop them. Okay, ואם יש להם מילווה בעיר יכולים להלוות וכו' וכו'. Okay, fine. So let's see now the Pitchet Tshuva. Okay, the Pitchet Tshuva over here says, Milinkor al yad al yad. Everyone has it on the bottom of the page. We're on page 32. Iowa. He says, Ayem bekneset הגדולה, בהגאות הטור, עוד קפה שכתב, had יכולים לעכב, דווקא למכור. We could only stop you from selling. אבל לקנות, אינם יכולים למונעם. But to buy, nobody could ever stop you. The Rashtam in the חלק ראש המשפט, ומשפט צדק, מפקפק בזה, ומשפטי שמואל חולק. ואפשר, דאם מתרבה המס בשביל האורחים הבאים לקנות, right? What happens now if there's going to be more taxes because of the people that are coming and buying? So he says, Yodea Rashtam shecholim la'akev. I don't know what the case would be. I'm trying to think what would be. Obviously, it's not like what we do nowadays, but obviously, meaning that if there's going to be more taxes,
it's on the set.
No, I think it could work like this. What happens if you live in a place where, according to the amount of sales, you have to pay a certain sales tax? But what happens right now, if all of a sudden now you surpass a certain amount of sales, now they tell you, now you guys have to pay a different sales tax. So therefore, if you come from outside of the city, I would be able to stop you because you're causing me now, by buying more things, you're causing me that I have to pay more sales tax. So, I don't know. So he says, so therefore what happens is, is that you're allowed to come, You're allowed to come and you're allowed to stop them from buying. But if not, usually you can never stop them, obviously, from buying. Look in the footnote. המחבר פסק כנ"ל, שבני העיר יכולים לעכב ביד האחרים למכור במקומם, שלא ימכרו על יד כדרך החנוונים, אבל ביום השוק מותרים לבוא ולמכור ובלבד שלא יחזרו לפתחים, והאם בפתש, בפתחי תשובה, שנחלקו האחרונים מבני העיר יכולים לעכב האחרים הבאים לקנות בעידם, ובנידונים אלו ספיקה לקולה ואינם יכולים לעכב. So basically what he's just saying is that when the Pitchet Tshuva comes and he brings down this, he says they can't stop it. So now the truth is nowadays the opposite. Nowadays you want that to happen. Right? For example, right, in New York, they want the tourists to come and they want them to buy things, right? Because they want that people should come in and start buying from them. That's what they want. They want it. Which one? באמת? למי? אף אחד.
שאתה קונה דברים,
כן.
שאתה תייר.
אם אתה תייר.
כן.
דברים? איך קונים דברים? חשבתי קראת.
אתה שומר את הקבלה?
חשבתי שקוראים דברים. אוקיי, פיין. יא? לא, תמשיך. חשבתי שאתה קורא דברים, לא קונה דברים. אוקיי, אבל תמשיך. נו, באמת אתה מקבל את הוואט בחזרה כמו בארץ?
כמו בארץ, אבל לא מפה מניו יורק לפלורידה.
אמרתי תיירים.
כן, הם כן מקבלים את זה? אף פעם לא שמעתי את זה
לניו יורק יש מס, פה אין את המיסים האלה, מה שיש בניו יורק איזה מס ש...
יש להם יותר מיסים מפה. אוקיי. פיין. סימן קנ"ו סעיף.
לא קל שישלם את המחיר.
Rabbi, to sum it up, you're allowed to. You're not. What did you say? You're allowed to sell to people from the outside.
You're always allowed to sell to people outside.
So now he's saying you're allowed to sell to the people from the inside.
No. The Pitchet Tshuva says what happens right now if there would be a system that if people from the outside come and they buy, they cause me to pay more taxes here.
Okay.
So therefore, what he says is that in such a case, I could stop them from buying. Meaning until here, we were always talking about stopping them from selling because they're doing competition to me. But now, if that would also affect me, that the way that they buy, it's also going to affect me. So therefore, the same thing would apply to buying.
Can I just ask, what about with the, because I read in Halacha of fish, for example.
Look on Siman Kufnun Vav, right? We're going to do Sif Dalid and then Sif Hey. Sif Dalid says, B'nei mavui o b'nei chatzer shna'asa echad me'muman. Page 33, 33, למעלה. היה בשולחן ערוך. בני מבוי ובני חצר שנעשה אחד מהן אומן ולא מיחו בידו. שהרי הוחזק, right? והיו העם נכנסים ויוצאים לקנות. So imagine right now you became a certain type of a profession. Doesn't matter what it is. Right? It could be that, sometimes you're a shoemaker. You could be that you sell chalot in your house. You could do whatever you want. Anything it is. Yeah? Exactly. Well, a shoemaker. Palm, yeah. Yeah. אחד או שתיים, right. But it doesn't exist anymore. You're right. You're right.
אני יכול להגיד לך שפיליפ הראה לי נעליים שיש לו, שהוא קנה אותם לא יודע, $1,500, משהו כמו בצרפת, והוא אומר שהוא לוקח אותו, והוא מסדר את זה, והוא לובש אותם עד היום. הוא קנה אותם לפני 15 שנה. ככה זה באמת היה צריך להיות.
זה פעם.
אז נראה לי הסנדלרים, או בשביל אנשים כמוך.
So listen, so he's got. So he says like this. Steve Daled. Yeah? Steve Daled. Yeah? B'nei mavui or b'nei chatzer. One more time. You have b'nei mavui, b'nei chatzer that they came and they opened up a profession inside of their houses. Right? So therefore you've got whatever you want to make, whether it's going to be a shoemaker, whether it's going to be you're a cook, you're this, you're that, whatever it is that you are. So he says they never made a mecha, and therefore he's got a chazakah, and people come in, people come out. Right? Mecha is a rebuke. They didn't rebuke him. They didn't stop him. Right? Why? Because they should have told him, now look, you're bringing people from the outside, you're making a noise, you're doing this, you're doing that. So what happens? So he comes and he says, ונכנסים ויוצאים לקנות, ושתקו, לא החזיק בדבר זה, right? And the guy, so he says, לא החזיק בדבר זה, ויש להם בכל עת לעכב ולומר, אין אני יכולים לישון מכל הנכסים ויוצאים שהזיק, זה כמו העשן והאבק שאין להם חזקה. What does that mean? Basically, whatever it is, right, that they already had a chazakah, so now they cannot come and be ma'akev, right? So he says, meaning that I cannot come and say afterwards, you know what, I didn't want you to be here. Why? Because it's too much noise. So, for example, you're in a residential area, and all of a sudden you open up a store right in the middle of the heart of the residential area. So at the beginning, they kept quiet. So they're quiet, quiet, quiet. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. All of a sudden, they want to come and want to open up a bakery in the residential area. So now you could still say, listen, I'm sorry. We've got the smell, the this, the noise. We don't want it. Right? Why? Because, of course. So the truth is, right? You would want to say, right? You would want to say you're not allowed to, right? You would want to say that you're not allowed to, but there's a problem, right? You know that even in America it also applies that there's a rule about freedom of religion. Because there's a freedom of religion, you cannot tell me that I can't have a place of worship here. So because of that, right? It's very very important, right? By the way, you should know